Okay. What was it? What was it? I missed that. Okay, shall we do the district plan review? Any appetite for that? Sorry, I mean welcome, Brigitte. Update on the district plan review, item 19, page 181. And then I think we're only left with the Burwood Recovery Park, and then Leanne wants to come back for public excluded. Okay? Just don't tell her yet, because these guys may take a while. Unless, of course, we're all fine with it. Pauline.
I know that there's an arrangement that the Crown will pay for some of these costs, but how far down the track is that being settled, or is it being settled? The split.
Yeah, it hasn't been finally agreed yet, and it's probably fair to say that we've got some potential agreement around what we believe is the first, I suppose, the known costs. But the way that the OIC is structured, and it's similar in Auckland, the hearings panel has a lot of discretion about additional reports and it can call for, so we're not entirely sure what those ultimate costs might be, and we're still working through with government officials about how we might share some of that cost as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions? Briefly and succinctly. Andrew.
Referring to paragraph 4.1.1, the first paragraph of that section, members have been appointed to the hearings panel by the ministers in consultation with the council.
Yes.
Could you describe what that consultation was and how it took place, please?
That consultation was discussed with the mayor, and the mayor, we were invited to make some comment on them. We had previously, in arrangements with working with SERA officials, provided potential lists of potential hearing panel members, along with SERA themselves, and with I think ECAM were also invited to nominate some people. But the OIC, as you can clearly note, basically provides that the ministers actually appoint the panel, and in the discussions that were had with councillors and with the mayor by the two ministers at the time, Minister Brownlee and Minister Adams, it was made clear that while our views would be taken into account, they would be doing the appointing.
Okay, any other questions? Yanni?
Yeah, thanks. So how many of the people that we put forward have been put on this panel?
I think it's probably, I think that's a difficult question to answer. Not so much in it's not a finite number, but I think potentially it draws attention. But a number of the people on this panel are people that were on lists that were common to both ECAN, SERA and council.
Is that first one right? Is that surname right in the Environment Court judge?
Yes.
It is?
Yes,
okay.
There's a bit of it's going to make life difficult. We've got a John Hanson,
yeah,
Sir John Hanson, and a Judge John Hassan.
Okay, right.
But it is correct.
Okay, thanks. Jimmy?
Only one issue regarding to the cost. We reviewed a page on 186 and also on 187. Expectation budget and approved budget. Only one item, the staff cost in here. Original is the 3.9 million, but right now increased to 6.7. Looks like increase 2.8 million. I'm not sure, because if we follow the order in council, also have environment code, this dispute, etc. But that's reasonable for consultant fee hearing. But staff fee increase how many staff numbers?
There isn't an increase in additional staff across the whole SPG and the council. The difference here is that we have got people outside the planning unit working on this process. For example, we've got urban designers from a different unit, we've got landscape architects from a different group altogether, we've got GIS from a different group in council. We've got a number of different professional staff that don't normally work on the district plan working in this team. Overall, there are about 100 staff from across council working on this project.
Okay, so that is not a part of consultant fee. That's separate.
No, that's separate.
Okay,
That's
part
correct.
of staff.
That's correct.
The fee. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
It's just a quick follow-on from what Yanni was saying about the list of people that are on here. If these haven't been selected by us and been selected by, let's say, ECAN and the government, the comment, to be clear, the panel's decisions are not required to be referred to the council for approval. So in other words, they could potentially change the majority of our work to a different degree that we've actually put into the district plan review. So in other words, if the stuff we've actually put into the district plan, the stuff we've decided upon, could be changed radically from what
I think that's yes, potentially at one extreme that's correct. At the end of the day, the principle that was established was as part of the OIC process, the council would write the plan, it would go to an independent and I suppose experienced panel of people involved in the RMA and in sort of that whole land development area, and they have to have regard to the RMA, they have to have regard to the SERA legislation. Perhaps Brent might want to comment. So I mean, it's not as though they have a carte blanche opportunity to go their own direction. They are working within established legal parameters and applying their expertise to it. And we and all the submitters, because a submitter could argue the same thing, well, this group of people could go a different direction to what they might want. So I suppose we are in some respects in the hands of that hearings panel. And of course, any decision that the hearings panel can make, if they err in law, that still can be challenged. But perhaps I'll get Brent to just comment a bit more further on that.
I think we understand this, don't we?
You understand that?
Yeah, I think
You
we
happy with
understand
that?
this.
I
It's
understand.
only about
it.
finances.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to bring it up because we've got a lot of stuff around actually design guidelines and actually sustainability and so forth, and it concerns me if they were removed.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Very briefly, Yanni.
Still just going through the membership, can we get a bio of John Sachs?
Sure.
And I still wasn't clear. Are you saying that in the list that we put forward to government, that we had a number of these people on that list?
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, I'm just really concerned about how many have relevant experience to Christchurch and planning?
Well,
And
John Sachs is developing a big subdivision here
Well,
and wants to do
So-
social housing.
yeah, I think they are, in terms of, they are an independent hearings panel. They have been appointed. They've been appointed on their merits, and they are drawn across a range of criteria.
Yeah.
But just, I mean...
No. Is
Okay,
there any
fine.
more questions?
Okay, so can I ask the terms of reference, which we were told would have a report come back to us around the costs and the term of reference before it was for a final decision? Why haven't they come back to us for a final decision, and why have we had no input into terms of reference?
Well,
I
the
can't
terms
tell.
of reference are set by the Crown for the hearings panel under the OIC. I'm not sure why you don't have this council has no actual decision-making power in respect to the terms of reference.
Okay. Right, can we move on? Is there a mover for this? Yeah, Jamie. Is there a seconder? Ali, can I put the update on the district plan review with the staff recommendations that are there? You want to speak? Yep.
Yeah, I'm just really concerned about this whole process. I know that we delegated to a small group of councillors to be involved in this and look at the expedited process. I have to say I'm really concerned that because these issues were raised when we were discussing the land use recovery plan, I am actually really concerned that we haven't had input into the terms of reference. I thought we'd be consulted over the terms of reference, and I thought we as councillors would be consulted over the appointments of the panel members. And I think just having a conversation with the mayor doesn't actually mean that we as elected members are consulted. So I just feel really concerned that this process is really being controlled by the government, and that we seem to be, as elected members, really on the outside looking in over what is a really significant piece of work for our city. So, you know, I'm really reluctant to support the operating budget being transferred to capital, given that we were told on the 8th of July that we would have a report come back for sign-off, and now we're finding out today that we're actually being asked to retrospectively approve this transfer of funds. So, you know, I really struggle with what's happening here. I struggle with the fact that the OIC says that we have to pay for all the expenses, and that we still don't seem to have any cost controls in place over what those expenses could end up being. So, yeah.
So you want to vote against it?
I will vote against this. I think given the fact that we have major financial issues, given that we have almost zero input as elected members into this process, other than doing the draft and sending it out for public notification, that I can't see why we should have to be incurring additional costs retrospectively. I just don't think it's fair at all.
Okay. Any other speakers? Raf.
Just to add to what Mike was saying, we did have a small group appointed who were delegated to oversee this process, and we were involved in the whole terms of reference, and we were involved in the selection of the panel. So I don't, you know, that was agreed. That's what we did. Obviously, there were robust conversations in that process, and I know Mike did a lot of work on getting those costs down as much as possible. Clearly, the cost is not something we'd be loving to bear at the moment, but that's just the facts of the matter. So I don't see that there was anything wrong with that process.
Okay, I'm going to put the motion. Unless there's any further discussion, I'll put the motion. Those in favour, please say aye. Those opposed, carried. Thank you. The last one.